Good morning once again, everyone. I was our night, and I hope that when we did the revision of what we talked about yesterday, please know about yourself very well. Your prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell, they are very, very important. Don't just neglect them that they are too simple that you think that you don't need them. You need them, and like I said yesterday to that these are what the little questions that matter sometimes in our JAMB question. There are some people that what 1 mark will not allow them to go to their university of their choice. For example, last year JAMB, I know somebody that scored 199, just 1 mark to reach 200. But due to just that 1 mark, she was not able to go to our desired university. So please let us take this thing with due diligence. So today we'll be talking about what the classification of living thing. The classification of the living thing, and I'll be breaking it down into section. The first section is that I'll talk about the hierarchy of living thing. Then the second thing is that I'll talk about what the kingdoms and the phylum under those kingdoms. The hierarchy of living thing, the kingdoms and the phylum under this kingdom. And please, when I'm talking like this, I would prefer that we get what you're writing material and that you are writing down, because this book is actually very, very wide. It's one of the widest topics that I've ever seen. It is wide, so voluminous. So please make sure you are writing something down. And then the first thing about the hierarchy of living thing, I will just list them now, and then I will teach us the formats on how we can know the hierarchy of the living thing. The hierarchy of living thing go kingdom. We have the kingdom, the phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Let me repeat it again. We have the kingdom, phylum, and why for phylum? Under for plants and fungi, plantain and fungi, we don't use phylum for it, we use the division. So we have the kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and then we have the species. And there is a method that I usually use. It is what keep plates clean in order to keep family generally safe. Keep plates clean in order to keep family generally safe. When you look at those first letters of this word, you will see that when they align, keep. When you just remember K, just remember kingdom. Plates, the first letter P, just remember your phylum. Clean, class. When you use that C there, just remember it as for class and code like that. So please don't forget, they are very, very important. Let's repeat it again. We have the kingdom, the phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, then we have the species. Let me repeat it again. The kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and then the species. And that species, I maybe on last week Thursday like that, I saw what a question like that. It was one of those JAMB questions when one of our students was CBG training. They were asking her about what species. So what is a species? Just you can write it down. That was species are a group of I hope you are writing. Species are a group of related organisms that can reproduce to produce a fertile offspring. Let me repeat it. Species are a group of related organisms that can reproduce to produce a fertile offspring. That is something about species. That was species what are able to produce what a fertile offspring. The two organisms can just reproduce and they can't produce a fertile offspring, they are not what species. It is species that are able to produce what a fertile offspring. I hope you are getting it. And also, let me use an example now. I've heard about liger before. Liger, Liger. Liger. That is what the breeding of a lion and tiger together is produced what a liger. But there's something about this liger is that this liger, they are sterile. That means that they are not able to reproduce. And the reason why they are not able to reproduce is because what lion and tiger are not of the same species. And also for mule too. Mule, M-U-L-E, it has been used since the ancient time. That this mule is just for the breeding of what horse and donkey. The breeding of horse and donkey. And this mule also is also sterile. And the reason is that what donkey and horse, they are not of the same species. So don't forget, species breed together and their offspring will be fertile. If their offspring is not fertile, that means it cannot reproduce further, then it is not a species. Then the two organisms that you must breed together are not species. They must be able to produce what a fertile offspring. So I hope you get that one again. So let's do our revision on the hierarchy of living things again. So we have the kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and then what the species. And then, so let's go further now. I told you that, so I'm through the hierarchy of living things now. Then I'll be talking about what the kingdoms. We have what 5 kingdoms. We have 5 kingdoms. The first kingdom that we have is the kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera. After kingdom Monera, we have the kingdom Protista. After the kingdom Protista, we have the kingdom Fungi. After the kingdom Fungi, we have the kingdom Plantae. After the kingdom Plantae, we now have the kingdom Animalia. Let me repeat it again. We first have the kingdom Monera, then the kingdom Protista, then the kingdom Fungi, then the kingdom Plantae, and then we have the kingdom Animalia. So there are 5: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. And there is a reason why that you must know about their evolution. That what kingdom Monera is developed out of those kingdoms, while what the kingdom Animalia as what are the most will develop out of it. So when we look at what the kingdom Monera, they are mainly prokaryotes. They are mainly prokaryotes, and I explained the meaning of prokaryotes in the last lesson. Just will go to lesson 1, you will see it there. Prokaryotes. Why the rest? That is for the Protista, the Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. They are eukaryotes. Monera are prokaryotes, while the rest are eukaryotes. So don't forget about what their evolutionary trend. You will be able to know about it very well. And there are sometimes just know about some characteristics of prokaryotes. So when you know about the characteristics of prokaryotes, you should one day ask you about kingdom Monera, maybe one of those phylum under the kingdom Monera. You should be able to have an idea because it is much. Under the kingdom Monera now we have what the blue-green algae. We have the blue-green algae and our bacteria. We have the blue-green algae and bacteria and the bacteria. Why for kingdom Protista? Kingdom Protista, they are divided into 2. We have the protophyta and then the protozoans. The protophyta and then the protozoans. Protophyta and then what the protozoans. Some of the example of under kingdom Procista. We have your amoeba, Chlamydomonas, Euglena. They all fall under the kingdom Procista. So the next kingdom that you will be required to know, that you should know actually, is the kingdom of fungi. And I know that you should know some example of the kingdom of fungi. That example are your mushroom, your rhizopus. We have mucor, aspergillus, and all like that. And you should know some of the general characteristics of fungi. You should know one of these that fungi are just saprophytic in nature. Know about some of those characteristics. Know about mushroom very well, because what JAMB was required is that you should know about example of mushroom and rhizopus. Know about what mushroom and rhizopus very well. Know some of what their general characteristic. Then under then the next kingdom is the kingdom of plantae. Then under the kingdom plantae, we have the following division. There's a reason why I did not mention the division for fungi, because it is not required. It was not in the syllabus, but you should know it. We have the ascomycetes, the basidiomycetes, cleomycetes, and the deuteromycetes. Let me spell it for you. Deuteromycetes, deuteromycetes. So that was for the fungi, but you are not required to do that, just for learning sake. Then, but for the kingdom plantae, you have to know all these divisions. We have the division Thallophyta. Make sure that I'm not mentioning phylum. For plants, kingdom plantae, it is division, not phylum. So we have the division Thallophyta, we have the division Bryophyta, we have the division Pteridophyta, and then we have the division Spermatophyta. Let me mention it again. We have the Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and Spermatophyta. And there's an evolutionary trend among all these organs. There's an evolutionary trend. This Pteridophyta and Spermatophyta, in some textbook you will see them as Tracheophyta. That is because what they have was vessel elements. They have vascular bundle. While for Thallophyta and Bryophyta, they are not well developed like what's this Pteridophyta and the Spermatophyta. So we also know some example of these words. Example of Thallophyta, we have what your Spirogyra. For Bryophyta, we have mosses and liverworts. The mosses and liverworts. While for your Pteridophyta, they also what's called ferns. Example, they are your ferns. That's Fern. While for your Spermatophyta Spermatophyta is actually very large. They are very it is an under the division plantae. Spermatophyta, they are the most well developed. They are the most developed out of the kingdom of plantae. And under the Spermatophyta, we have your angiosperm and the gymnosperm. Under Spermatophyta, there are angiosperm and the gymnosperm. And whenever you hear something Spermatophyta, that sperm there is from the word seed. So what Spermatophyta are seed-bearing plants. Spermatophyta are seed-bearing plants. So under the Spermatophyta, we have for gymnosperm and then the angiosperm. Gymnosperm and then the angiosperm. So know about the gymnosperm. Know about your pines, your cycads, and there are some of the general characteristics One of these are what presence of cones. Know about their needle life or leaves. There are some of those simple things that JAMB might ask you, and please don't overlook what this gymnosperm. Then under the next thing under spermatophyta, which I just mentioned earlier, is the angiosperm. And under the angiosperm, we have your monocots and dicots. Your monocots and dicots, which I know, or let me say I hope that we are familiar with it. Know the difference between what your monocots and your dicots. They are very, very important. Know about their parallel venation, their seed leaf, the kind of germination that they have. Go to your note and just revise what again. Then the last